time where you have to eat. In the village, we didn't have that fixed
Luxury,
time.
right?
Yeah, I mean, you have your food in the morning, whether ampesi or banku or anything that is available in the morning, and then later on when you close from school, it didn't really matter the fixed time. In the evening, our fufu was always constant. But we're not going to have fufu constantly. But we made friends. It was fun. Seeing very young people, very brilliant young people, some very calm, some, very, who know what's up. And
Yeah.
I was just 14 years old at the time, entering. I didn't know much, but it was fun. The social life was really, honestly. Now I don't think the kind of, well, the folks we have today in our same also think that they're having the best time.
Okay.
But when I look at them and I look at the time we had,
You.
we're not as big as them, we're not
Right.
as open and developed as now, but we had really have fun.
You have moved into the upper echelon when it comes to a lot of the things that we could talk about. I'm curious your upbringing. How did that shape the person you are today?
Yeah, my upbringing was very humbling,
Right.
very humble, beginning from one of the most beautiful village. Mercury must come with me to my village at Sinkruwa. I got my roots started just a few weeks ago. We
Wow.
started it, and it just got really done a few weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We got electricity for the first time when I think I was done with DHS, and then we got telecommunication for the first time to say hello or to send WhatsApp messages.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can you
And
hear
they
me?
say-
When I became member of parliament.
Wow.
So just 2017.
Your
so
people must be very proud
so
of you.
that's how humble
Yes.
my background has been.
Right.
But that shaped me to appreciate life. I've seen a stream, I've seen poverty, I've seen God's blessings, though in a very modest way. But and we're still not there yet. But it makes you humble, it makes
Right.
you empathetic, it makes you want to, empathize with people who have needs. And when you have responsibility, or when you have the honors, responsibility as a public figure, as a politician, as a leader, you need to think about the many millions who are in the trenches, who are in difficulty, that need support, that need life. So every decision that you're taking, and the public funds that will come your way, you need to think about the larger people. My mom, was a pastor. She's late.
Right.
She's late, sadly, but she was a pastor. So waking me up for dawn prayers, getting us to go to church every time, it shaped us.
Right. I was actually going to ask you, so it was interesting that you delved into that. Going to ask you if you had strict parents growing up.
My mom, very
Right.
strict.
Okay.
But my dad, he was chill, very calm. But my mom, really very smart, sharp lady, very, 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 very strict, and she had this heart of gold. One thing I learned from my mom is religious tolerance, and that has really shaped me.
Right.
Though she was a pastor, if any Muslim, if any foreigner, if anyone of a different, religion came to the village and needed somewhere to go, everybody would bring the person to my mom.
Wow.
And even if we didn't know them, my mom would be that hospitable to the person, accommodate them for the entire period, feed them, and then all that. So, and we lived with people from one of her best friends, who is still alive today, Ntim
Right.
in Cape Coast, Muslim. And so we lived together, we grew up with their kids, and so we appreciated, and there was, my parents taught me how to break that tribal stereotype. There was some tribes that very early on you find some folks trying to say some things about them that would not make you exciting to want to meet them. But my parents, both my dad, my mom, they made us embrace everyone, love everyone. So those were really cool. For business, yes, my mom.
Okay.
My dad taught me to be cool, calm, gentle, understanding, responsible. I remember he held my hands the first time walking across the field to the school. He was in his Wellington boots and Cadillac. He was going to the farm. Says, "I'm taking you to school." School, and Mercury in the village or those days, you had two names.
Right.
So the one that you are called, your local name, they call you at home.
Yes.
And the one they will call you in school. I knew my older siblings, how the true names. So I didn't know mine. I only knew my local name.
Okay.
So they call me Ofayao. So I said,
Ofayao.
so now that Papa, we don't call our dad, we call him Papa. So now that you're taking me to school, what name Dean Bennett, they were friend me. And I said, "You're from John Ntim Fordjou." I started rehearsing it across the.
So that was the first time you heard
that? Was the first time I heard
okay.
my name, John Ntim Fordjou.
Interesting.
Yeah, we rehearsed it. So it's been really exciting growing up.
Right. Amazing. In case you just joined us, I'm here with Reverend John Ntim Fordjou, the man. He's right here with me. You can actually get on Facebook, Hitz 103.9 FM, and check him out. Looking sharp, live with me up in the studio. So let's now talk about, it sounds like your parents had a great influence on you, but growing up and looking at where you are now, who would you say had even more influence on you?
Growing up, my parents, many other people have also along the line have a lot of impact on my life. But just before I even go in there, thank you for the compliment. And I think I must come again. And next time I need to get a cap on and come with a swag because you have outswagged me, cry.
I would also want to come.
You and DJ Icon, you've killed it. And I'm here looking all, formal and all, but I'll come again.
Yes, and it'll also be, you see, the next time you come, I'll be looking like you. So
we'll surprise each
other.
So, but I'm hoping I will do something to surprise DJ Icon.
That would be great.
Yeah,
that would be great on a okay.
But we'll still think about that.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. So the number of very, very powerful people I lived with many people, and they've been very kind to me.
Right.
From the SHS through, I had to live with Mr. Asamoah in Cape Coast. I had to do vacation classes. So my dad was tired of the village. I had to come to Cape Coast. So Mr. Asamoah, God bless you, and my uncle. And Nana Kumikosa, I'd lived with them. They've been very kind. I went to Takwa, 17 years old. I was in the university. I know these days many people, 17, I was in the university. Very young. I had Anticisi and who just took me like a son. Many people who have had impacts. Bishop Ene Takia Boy has been amazing. When I was done with uni, Bishop Joseph Anyani Asari. As a matter of fact, I lived in his house, he and the wife. Mama Anita lived in their house when I was done with uni for a while before I found my feet and got my own place. And so a lot of wisdom, impacted me.
Right.
I also learned a lot from my friends, my peers growing up. Christianity, serving the Lord, getting serious with life, even very early on, and devoting most part of your life to serve Him. There were some people who also taught me how to dress, how to put on tie, and other people who taught me how to wear sneakers and wear jeans and so many shades of things. But it's been great. We're still learning.
Right. Interesting. So growing up, at what point did you start seeing that politics would be your path?
Well, I never thought I was going to be a politician.
Right.
Though I had done some bit of politics, but it was just, I would say, leadership. High school, secondary school, I became a library prefect. At the university, I loved debates. I love to get into controversies, debating, standing for the rights of students and facing authorities to negotiate fees
Leading,
downwards. And
right.
So at some point I got appointed on SRC, but that was just about it because I was a campus pastor, so to say, secretary. Those days, if you are president, vice, or secretary, executive of Campus Christian Fellowship, was like the umbrella group of all the charismatic students. It was a big pastoral thing on campus.
On this note, it will be good for us to have a sermon. Maybe just a mini sermon.
Sermon goes with offering. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Yeah, so we'll have
that.
But around that,
you're right.
I also, had apart from Christianity, there were a few other things that business and all that. So it's been
Right.
it's been great.
Well, what was your dream career?
My dream career was just to do business.
Okay.
So right from university, I just did. Though I was training to be a mining engineer, and the aspiration of a mining engineer, mineral engineer, mine or specifically mineral engineering, was to get into the mines. You even get recruited before you are done, mostly attachments,
Right.
and all that. But I had a different dream. I started a company before I was done with uni, and that were four of us. So it employed four people. Anyone in Takwa University of Mines and Technology around 2003 to 7 knows about Initiatives Consult. And when we're done with school, I thought that I needed to get into Goldfields to get corporate experience.
Right.
But God was so good to me. So at 23, I didn't start from entry level. I got jumped straight. I started as a senior, training officer in charge of administration. And then within about 3 years, I had risen to the rank of a superintendent. In the mine, superintendent is like manager. So it's a big role there. And I was
Right.
so all this was before 25 years old. So I got, strong exposure. So I left and
Okay.
then came back to pick my business. And then within 6 months, upon taking it up, we're all over working with about 8 large-scale mining companies, doing mining support services for them with 120 staff at the time, very young, 25. So that's all I was doing. And
Wow.
and then so I thought it was just business. And then I was an elder at the time. And then Bishop said, no, you have to be ordained. I got ordained around 28 years old. And then started a branch of Victory Bible Church in East Legon. We started
Right.
from Mensvik Hotel.
Oh, Victory.
Yes.
I used to attend Victory at Aoshi Junction.
That's our
Bayard.
headquarters. So you're my church member.
Yes.
So we have to get back.
We have to get back.
I used to.
Oh.
Yeah, is that you used to?
Yes,
you
I
have
used
to get back.
We must.
Yes, all the arrears in offering, we'll waive
We
it.
just put it. Okay.
We'll waive it.
Okay.
But we need you back.
The important thing is we get
We
back.
need you back. So
Okay.
that's our headquarters. So
Right.
that's where I got ordained,
Oh.
Bishop and Itakia boy. So you know our father.
Yes.
So wherever you are now, I know it's an
Father.
amazing place, but you
Yes.
have to come back home.
We're coming
Yeah.
back.
So when I got ordained, I immediately started a branch of the church in East Legon. So for the past 11, 12 years, I've been pastoring that branch together with my very fantastic assistant
Right.
pastor. So that was all I thought I was going to do. In fact, politics was nowhere near my dream. Then about a year on into starting the church, I get calls from. But my dad is a politician.
Right.
In the area. He was one of the people who brought MPP into our scene with Professor Fobi, with Chairman Robert Kutin Jr., Nana Jamra, Nana Pote, and a number of them. They brought MPP to that locality, and Honorable Kennedy Japan, Chairman Bute. So they were all very involved in the party. We all grew up knowing that we were sympathetic towards MPP. But I didn't think I was going to do
Right.
MP. So I was there, and I got calls that your MP is retiring. It's not run again. Professor
Okay.
Fobi is not going to run again. We need you to come. I said, oh, but I'm a pastor. I'm doing my
Right.
business. What has pastoring got to do?
Yes.
So no.
And I'm even going to ask, how do you blend God's work with
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, so those calls started coming.
Right.
Started from my friends. Mr. Bafo in the UK now. By the time I was here, and then he linked me to the then Central Regional MPP youth organizer, who's now the chairman of MPP Central Region, Mr. Percy Dennis.
Right.
And then we had some conversations around it. Well, so I responded, and then we had just 2 months on to the primaries
Right.
when I took the decision that I ran. Of course, I ran it past Bishop Benetakia Boy, Bishop Mayani Asari, and a couple of my prophet friends prayed about it, and instantly, okay, they said, no, this is not very usual, but
Right.
just go ahead. We know the Lord is leading you. Go into it. I had some dreams, and they started playing out. Just 2 months into the primaries, miraculously, I won. We're 6 candidates, top seasoned politicians. The youngest, about 52 at the time. I was so young, I wasn't even 30 then, but God opened the way.
Wow.
And then I won.
Wow. This is a very interesting story. One thing that caught my attention, you mentioned that you had some dreams. What did you see in those dreams?
That one when I come again.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, but it was. I mean,
Right.
there were some dreams I had, and they happened exactly, like how I was going to win, even with a number I've got, and a few other things. But it would be difficult to share it now.
Right.
But there were milestones, there were like landmark things giving you clear directions. At this point, this will happen. At this point, that will happen. At this point, and at one point, when one of it played out exactly as the Lord had showed me in a dream, I wept. I usually don't cry.
Okay.
But I wept. I felt God is so real, Yeah, and we have to listen to what He says and His directions. And so this calling of politics that I have responded to. I'm not just doing it for ambition. I'm not doing it for fun.
Right.
I'm not doing it for career. I'm doing it because I believe the Lord has an assignment for me. And at certain points in time, those things play out so that I know exactly what God said will happen. And those things encourage me to know that I'm on the right path.
On the right path, certainly so. So now what comes to mind is alignment. Since it is clear to you that God is aligned, on your path when it comes to politics, have you at any point in time felt that there's some interference, politics, religion?
Politics and religion, they're intertwined.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the first time that Israel would want to have a leader was when they demanded that Saul becomes their king. God had been their king. Those governmental, systems started emerging, and then it started metamorphosing, changed, and it got to a point. Democracy, many forms of religion came forth, but that is a system we are in, and the Word of God also enjoins us that whoever is a leader is though we may elect him, but it was appointed by God, and we all have to support and pray for him. Some of these principles and the greater sense of responsibility that to be a pastor and to be a politician is an onerous responsibility. It calls on you to be, to do things differently. Yes, you're a politician, yes, you're a pastor, but it means that you have to do things differently. You will be measured by a different standard altogether. So things that others can say and just go free, you would say it, you'll be in trouble. Things that people will do and get away with it, you will do it and you will not have it easy. And therefore, knowing that you are surrounded by such great cloud of witnesses, you need to know how you do things differently. I was determined, and I'm still determined, that if I'm coming into politics, I'm doing politics, I need to do it differently. It has to be impactful. At least in my little constituency as in South, there should be some. I need to see some impact in the lives of the people, and then on the national discourse, I should be able to make a little contribution, so that at some point in time, no matter the few years that God will give me, within which I'll serve as a politician, I must be remembered that this young man came in, he was a pastor, and he made this impact. He contributed. He couldn't change everything, but he was able to do things differently, contributed to this change and that impact. And so it's one of the reasons why you'd realize that even within the 8 years that I was in power, whenever I had some disagreements with something that was going on, that maybe my party I felt were not very forceful in coming out to state, I would state my position. And the same principle, if I also have a president who's not from my party, I see him as my president, and I always call that let's pray for President Mahama, let's support him to succeed. And I always advise people, nobody should pray and wish that President Mahama should fail. We should pray that he succeeds, because if we will come back to power, all right, but we don't. President Mahama doesn't have to fail for us to come to power. He will succeed, and we will support him to leave his legacy, but we will still come after 4 years. Because if you say that, look, let your opponent fail, then out of the failure, you will come in. It means that Ghana was here, and you want Ghana to go low this way, then you will come. When you come, your opponent will also wish you also fail, so they come. And so we will also come down, and then they will take over, and everybody will wish that each other fails. It's Ghana that will be failing at the end of the day. But let the thinking be that whoever is in power even if you don't support his party, let's support him. Let's support them to succeed. Let's take Ghana from here there. You would also come.
Right.
And because people don't vote just because of roads. People don't, we did a lot of roads. We did free SHS, but SHS students voted against us. And so it's not so much about what you do. So let them succeed. But you also come. Then when you come, you take it from here and here. So that by the time they also come back, they will come and continue from where you left it off. Then Ghana progressively will be a better place for all of us. So that should be the thinking. And two, that you must be constructive in your criticism. It shouldn't be always partisan. And so because I'm MPP, everything NDC does must be negative. No way. I was one of the first people who started calling that, look, if NDC thinks that they need a new presidential jet for President Mahama, they should be bold and make the case. I, Ntim Fordjou, will support.
Right.
I have heard people, even sympathetic to NDC, who are saying, no, we will not support it. Look, but you see, you must be honest and prioritize the safety of the president, and he and the kind of travels he embarks on for the states, and ask yourself, if the presidential jet it was bought so many years ago, 2010 it came in, if has been used to a point where we know that sometimes can be grounded for 6 months, 3 months for maintenance, within that period the president must travel and undertake his duties. And so if that is not available, must he fly commercial? When it is practical, he may. But sometimes it's not practical, feasible to do commercial. You have to use private jets. And so if the president doesn't have a brother or a friend who may be able to give a private jet, what should the president do? Should he be dysfunctional? So let's have that conversation,
right?
And not do politics. The first time I heard politics being done about presidential travels was when we were in power and our friends on it. But when we came in and vice president used the private jet.
Private jet, yes.
I was one of the first people who said, no, the vice president must use private jet. Her Excellency Jenna Opoku-Agyeman, she must, because if the state security determines that for her safety, that is where she must fly. She is the vice president. She must fly. Nobody should do politics with it. And so if we have to buy a presidential jet for the president, why? But they should be bold to say, oh, yeah, when we're in opposition, we were the ones who did politics with this, but now we think that we have to backtrack. Ghanaians, you apologize, they will forgive you. They have goodwill. If you apologize now, they will forgive you, and we will support you.
Right.
So that is the kind of politics I do. You remember on LGBT?
Yeah.
I have my principled position religiously, traditionally, and I was one of the first people who raised the statement in 2017, August, on this matter.
Right.
Whenever there were pushbacks here and there, I would come loud on radio and say, no, let's go and close down this resource center, let's do that. But we did that out of love, not hating any person or individual, but, extending hand of help, that anyone who needs that help, we are ready to help. We are not here to call for the persecution or, the brutalities on any particular persons. But traditionally, religiously, as a society, we have our certain thinking. So if you need help, let's do it. If you are going to do it and in your room and you are not going to be all over trying to make everybody else come and do it, that one is between you and the law, and you and your belief. So we brought this human sexual rights bill. When it was so... it couldn't happen for our president to sign it. I came out. I was one of the first persons who appealed to the president. Now, President, if it's possible, you can do this for us even before we go. Because the election had even been done.
Yeah.
Please just sign it. We passed the bill, but a lot of legal constraints came in. So the same way, I need to consistently continue on there. So. We have to do a principle.
I must say that I really admire your principles, your philosophy. Very fantastic. So at this point, how would you rate President Mahama?
At this point, I would say that as early days yet.
Right.
7 months on.
7 months. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll begin to have a full picture.
Right. But so far.
Yeah. So far. There are some aspects definitely he's done well, and there are some aspects that he hasn't also done well. One of the aspects he's done well is he's managed the exchange rates. Now a dollar is around 10 cedis. On paper, though, when you go to Abochi will give it to you around 12 to 13. But we are praying and supporting the government that and the finance minister, the governor, Dr. Isiama, so that they will be able to bring the Abochi rates closer to the Bank of Ghana rates. But we applaud them for being able to achieving that. Let's support them to keep it stable. For it's very essential. So they've done well on that. But the aspect that I also think they could do better is the kind of brutalities we see.
Right.
The insecurity. After Boko, nobody should do politics with it.
Right.
To be honest, our friends on the NDC openly did politics, and it hurts the conflict so bad. We in opposition should not do politics with it. Yeah, if they did politics, we should not equalize and say they did politics. Nobody must and should benefit from the suffering of our brothers and sisters in the Boku zone. So let us all be very sensitive, take politics out of it, support the Ntim Fordjou-led mediation so that we have lasting peace restoring there. But that said, take Boko and Kwanta out. There are a lot of insecurities. Acts of people, getting missing, and then you find them 2-3 days and they are murdered somewhere. We could do better on that. I also think that brutalities on journalists, brutalities on political opponents by the excesses of national security, it is too much. It is too much. And I think that if it's one thing that is chipping away the goodwill of President John Dramani Mahama, it is those excesses.
Right.
And for us, we should be bold to call that out. Just a couple of days ago, my very good friend, Mr. Carlos Caloni, your colleague in the multimedia, just doing his job. He didn't trespass. He wasn't in any security zone. Just doing his job, interviewing an eyewitness.
Right.
He was brutalized. Him, and the
witness.
The witness, eyewitness. So I condemn that act. I condemn the brutality of national security on the journalist, media journalist, Mr. Carlos Caloni. And I condemn it totally.
Very unfortunate.
Because they did it, they started storming the homes. They stormed my home without court warrant. They've done a lot of excess things, not abiding by the law, all in the name that our party is in power. We are national security, so we can do anything. We can storm here, we can storm there, wielding guns and all that. We don't need all these. Right. We don't. So for that, he must rein in. President must rein in the excesses within the national security, those operatives. Then Galamsey, there are a lot of things to be done there. But all in all, let us support the president.
Right.
And I know that we'll get a full picture, maybe 2 years on, 3 years. But I would hope that by that time, President Mahama would have left a legacy.
Right.
And I'll come back to your studio and say, I applaud President Mahama for doing so.
I want to give you this opportunity, right? And this is you to President Mahama. So you're going to look into this camera and speak to him. And I think this is something that we're going to have years on. We can revisit that years on. So what do you have to say to the president?
Yeah. So this camera, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So President Mahama, you are my president. You are our president. We'll continue to pray for you and we'll support you so the vision God has given you for this period becomes successful. I mean, this is your last and final term, and we are supporting you so that you leave legacy. And therefore, our prayers are with you. Where you get it right, we'll be the first to applaud you. And where you get it wrong, we'll be also the first to come and constructively, point you in that direction and criticize constructively. Not in a destructive manner. And so we wish you well, and we wish you Godspeed.
Thank you. And I'm sure the president will be smiling if he's watching, Thank you so much. We are pressed for time. There's so much to talk about, but I would like to touch on your house being raided. Reverend, how did it feel? I mean, I want you to just take us back to, that scenario. How did you feel?
The summation of the whole sentiments around the storming is my little girl, asking me, Daddy, why are they doing this? Why? She's very young, but so brilliant. I had no idea how much she digested. But that was a summation, what she said. I asked her, why asking this? She didn't respond. She knew exactly the question she was asking. And every now and then she'll bring back that conversation. All those plenty people, and later she saw TV here. Why did they come to our house? Why? And you put it aside. But it is a broader conversation of excesses of national security in the name of our parties in power. So let us just do anything with our, in the name of NIB, in the name of national security, and that chips away. Now they've done it to many people. You can storm my house. They've stormed the house of Dr. Addison. They stormed the house of Honorable Ken Oforiatta. They stormed many houses. Some don't even come to the media at all. They are brutality. They go and whole office to go. Recently, we saw Forestry Commission in the Ashanti region. They go storm it, close it down. All these things. Some of them we've heard it in the past.
Right.
And so when you talk, they say, "Oh, but you also did it." Okay, so must it continue? So the next person also comes to equalize.
Yeah.
I think at some point it has to stop. But they stormed my house without court warrant. Today I saw on Twitter, X, some friends posting a letter I'd even forgotten about, or that I sent on the 2nd of April.
Right.
I raised my first press conference on 1st of April.
Yes.
Drawing the attention of the government
Yes.
on those Gran Canaria cocaine flights and money laundering flights, for them to go into it and establish and be a deterrent. So when I raised it, it was without malice. If you read a press statement, it was without malice. Just the second day, I wrote, because the president had directed that national NIB, national security, police CID, and NACOC should collaborate with me. So with the greatest of respect and regard for the director of the president, I wrote a letter. Now I see that they are sharing on social media.
They're sharing the letter you wrote.
Yes.
Okay.
I wrote, and yes, it was a matter of public record that all these agencies should come, so that we have a joint meeting.
Right.
So that meeting, we provide everything available to us in evidence, in additional information, so that they take it. And we'll even be under oath, because anytime you are meeting such joint intelligence committee, it's under oath.
Oh, yes.
And then they'll go and at the security level, investigate and put things right, and it will be even quiet. And then the next thing we will hear will be maybe the president issuing another presidential statement to say the investigation has been conducted and it has been put to bed, and so Ghanaians should be. That's it. Or even eventually National Security or any relevant security agency would have issued a statement to say the investigation has been conducted. It took this period, and then we've put things to bed. We found this out. We verified so and so, and then everybody should be at peace. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen. So that letter even determined them to be credible, that I even say them. Because of, wisdom will let you know that it's not everything. You need to find another way to deal with it. So we've been dealing with such stuff.
Right.
So whatever I do is without malice. But if only the people in government and power will have the right approach, there's a lot of support that we will be able to give them.
A lot of support.
So that we succeed together as a country.
Right. I love that. Succeed together, and that's a must. Unfortunately, we are pressed for time. But just before you go, what do you think the NPP did wrong in the 2024 elections?
Yeah, for the 8-year period, MPP, President Akufo-Addo will go in history as a man that did sterling achievements in all sectors. He left legacies, and his name, he will be remembered very fondly, kindly. Posterity will judge him very fondly and kindly. However, the most successful government will still be that government that had a few things that on hindsight, you would know that we could have done this better. And so many, I think we should have listened more.
Right.
And already we're challenged with a global crisis. It affected 80% of incumbent governments because there were 60 elections across the country post-COVID. Only 20% of incumbent governments retained their seats.
Right.
80% they lost. And so if people think that we are suffering, we feel in our pockets. Yes, COVID came, Russia, Ukraine, and all that. But at the end of the day, no matter what you've done, if I'm so within that period, and that's their sentiment, they will vote you out. Some will even refuse to vote at all. Some also felt, but now they're beginning to appreciate that over 800,000 pensioners had their pension, touched. But at the time, I don't know how the engagement went, but it didn't come across as something that the pensioners really saw how it was going to help lay the foundation for our economic recovery. So out of Hitz, they expressed their anger in the election. But today, when it turned out World Bank and Fitch and other notable global institutions are pointing that Ghana's economy is recovering, and one of the reasons why they are recovering is because the debt exchange program, which unfortunately, affected pensioners, is accounting for greatly affected pensioners. Is greatly accounting for the recovery we are seeing today.
Right.
So today, when you talk to a lot of the pensioners, vulnerable pensioners, though they feel pained that they had to go through the suffering that they went through, on another side, on the flip side, they are happy that their sacrifice has accounted for the recovery of the economy as it is bouncing back today. So with time, people will begin to understand why certain things happen. But in the heat of the moment, Ghanaians had to do what they did. But I also think free SHS was a fantastic policy.
Right.
But I feel that if we had financial releases more regularly, to have improved on the feeding a bit more, would have earned the support of the students much more than we had. But I see NDCs also falling into that same mistake. They had an alternative which I thought was brilliant. They said they will send money straight to the headmasters so that they will always have money to feed the students. Brilliant. But they did that for just 2 months when they came in. And they've stopped. And they reverted to the same system that gave us problems. And now there are food shortages and crisis in the school. So I think that they should look on where we could have done better.
Right.
And then find a way to improve on some of those. But all in all, we wish them well. But we're coming back in 2029, definitely. NPP is coming back to power.
Looking forward to that. And I want to say a big thank you. I really wish we could have like another 30 minutes because there's so much to talk about. See, we've not even talked about, your 3 wonderful kids. I wanted to delve a bit into...
There are 4.
4 now. Yeah. Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right. So just before you say goodbye to us, what would you want to share, maybe within a minute?
I would want to extend my heartfelt condolences to the family of Daddy Lumba.
Right.
Ghana has indeed lost a great legend. May his soul rest in peace, and to sympathize with the family. It's a great loss. MPP, great loss. The whole of Ghana, great loss. Music industry, showbiz industry, because this legend impacted positively Ghana and the world with his music and his extraordinary talent for over 36 years.
Yes.
And so from 1989, when some of us first heard him, Yaka Aquentium,
yes,
and then Teresa Bebrese, so many beautiful songs.
It was nice.
He switched into gospel.
Yes.
It was nice.
What's your favorite Lumba gospel song?
My favorite gospel, or my favorite song of all time of Daddy Lumba is Minkwanda Nyina Mesum Jesus.